Please subscribe to our channel, Pacific Front Untold, and be sure to leave a comment after watching a video.
Immediately after Japan's surrender in World War II, on August 15, 1945, a phenomenon emerged of Japanese soldiers continuing to hide or fight after they had been informed of the Japanese surrender. These straggler soldiers continued to hold out for numerous reasons. They did not understand the war had ended, they feared punishment for desertion, or they felt bound by a sense of duty to continue their mission. The source: investigation of captured Japanese army stragglers in the province of Bukidnon, island of Mindanao, focuses on the cannibalism, rape, and murder this group of 32 straggler soldiers inflicted on the Bukidnon province of Mindanao. During World War II, Mindanao was a significant battleground, particularly during the Battle of Mindanao, part of Operation Victor Fefenv to liberate the Philippines from Japanese control. The island's rugged terrain, dense jungles, and limited infrastructure made it an ideal environment for Japanese soldiers to evade capture. After the war, many Japanese troops surrendered, but some remained in hiding, particularly in remote areas like Bukidnon, a mountainous province in central Mindanao. The Japanese army continued with organized resistance in Bukidnon for a brief period after the official Japanese surrender. However, approximately 22,250 Japanese troops and 11,900 civilians emerged from hiding across Mindanao at the war's end, indicating that many had avoided capture in the jungles. Some of these stragglers lived in isolation, some integrated into local communities. However, these soldiers continued a gruesome campaign of terror, unaware of or in denial of Japan's surrender. The investigation was concerned with the activities of the group of 33 Japanese army stragglers who had been captured near Intavas, Bukidnon, on or about 14 February 1947. For about a year and a half before their capture, residents of the province had been subjected to repeated attacks by small bands of Japanese soldiers, resulting in the known deaths of over 70 persons. A number of victims had escaped and brought back stories of torture, murder, and rape. Pursuing patrols of the Philippine Army, MPC found piles of bones and other evidence of cannibalism. This was later confirmed by the testimony of actual eyewitnesses. Although contact was made by several MPC patrols, resulting in the killing of a few Japanese soldiers, the lair and size of the group could not be ascertained. The entire province was terrorized. Whole towns were evacuated. Many schools were closed. Agriculture was largely abandoned, and a minor famine threatened. On the date mentioned, a patrol of the MPC, led by Lieutenant Alejandro Sale, captured a group of 34 Japanese soldiers, as above described, and brought them to Sumilao. One later died in the hospital. The purpose of this investigation was to determine whether the prisoners were guilty of the offenses referred to. Witnesses and victims were examined and testified under oath, and with the exception of one wrote his statement narratively in his own handwriting. These statements and annexed hereto. The following witnesses were sworn and testified as hereinafter appears. The following Japanese prisoners of war were sworn and testified as hereinafter appears, all male. The following documents were considered. The following victims are referred to in the annexed statements. Of the above, the following are known to have been butchered and eaten after their murder. It is certain that this group of Japanese stragglers was responsible for the torture, killing, and cannibalism of many more victims than are listed in this report. The MPC files are replete with descriptions of incidents and reports of deaths and disappearances. The dates and locations of these incidents correspond so closely to the period and area of the operations of the stragglers that it is a moral certainty that they are guilty. However, the instances above listed are the only ones in which there is any hope of convictions on the basis of presently perpetuated evidence. The difficulties of terrain and transportation in the province of Bukidnon make it appear unlikely that further evidence will be uncovered with a lengthy supplementary investigation. It is therefore suggested that whatever trial proceedings are instituted be based upon the annexed report, and that those perpetrators not named therein be cleared. Specific Recommendation 1. The identification of Yoshio Shida and Kikuo Nakaizumi by Constancio Sapline was unimpressive and unconvincing. The witness is a boy of 6 or 7 years. He is shy, diffident, illiterate, and inarticulate. His identification has hasty and based upon a cursory, frightened glance. This boy would crumble under the mildest cross-examination. For all these reasons, it is recommended that Shida and Nakazumi be not charged in this instance. 2. There is no identification or other evidence to show that any of these Japanese was guilty of the murder of Bon Tio Go. Recommended, therefore, that no action be taken in this instance. 3. The statement of Lieutenant Alejandro Sele described the identification of Ishi Hanada by a girl named Bidet as the killer of a number of civilians. Although this girl was unavailable during the course of the investigation, Lieutenant Sele is confident that he will be able to produce her when required to testify. It is recommended, therefore, that Hanada be charged in this instance. Several instances of cannibalism are described where the victims are fellow Japanese soldiers. Whether or not such cannibalism constituted a violation of Philippine civil law, it is believed that difficulty would be found in having it held to be a war crime. It is recommended, therefore, that no charges be based thereon. It is believed that sufficient competent evidence now available has been perpetuated.